Swatching continues with the Vireo. I really enjoyed working with it. I think that we need to find a good hook to pair it with though. So let's talk about what I tried. I tried a couple different hooks. The first up is of course my Clover H soft grip. I found that it was a little bit too smooth. The interplay between the hook itself, although I think the contour of this hook is just right for it, I think that the slick finish that they put on this hook makes it a little difficult to work well with the Tencel. Even though it's got that 20% wool in it to hold the yarn, to hold the stitch, it just wasn't quite enough to get me where I wanted to be on my gauge. I felt like I had to think about it quite a bit. Likewise, when I swatched with the My Two Ladies hook, which is a lovely hook, it's a nice long hook, it's very smooth. The issue I had with this one was that because of all of the fibers that make up the individual plies of this yarn, I found myself occasionally getting one of them stuck as I went to make my stitch. So I found that I was working very slowly with it, even though it's a wonderful, smooth, slick surface, and you would think the interplay between the slick yarn and the slick hook would work out well. It didn't for me. I found that it was tough to get gauge, not unlike when I used the Clover hook. So the winner today is the Furls hook, because it has a slightly grippier finish on the ebony hook, and I was able to get gauge more consistently throughout the sample that I was working on. So I think it might also be due in part to the fact that, see how generous this part is here underneath the hook? The articulation of the hook itself, I think, also aided in being able to really get in there, grab what I need when I needed to yarn over and pull through. So I'm very happy with the way that the Vireo interacts with the Furls product, because the Tencel is nice and soft and the wool is nice and soft. It makes for a very smooth surface. And when you have the interplay of it versus the hook that has just a little bit of extra grip in it, on the finish of it, you get a good interplay. Just for kicks, I tried a couple others too. I know everybody loves their Clovers, so I did try one of the Clovers as well. I felt that again it was a little too slick. If you notice here, I have different gauge. It's just a wider, it's a lovely hand, but it just wasn't what I was looking for when I used this hook from Clover. And then just for comparative purpose, I also use this one. This is the Boil hook, and it is part of one of their hook sets. So my issue with these is that they tend to be difficult to control as you try and work through whatever you're trying to use the hook for. So I would definitely say that the winner in this context, working with this wonderful yarn, is pairing it with the Furls hook, which I will be doing on my next project, which at the moment is TBD. I'm not really sure what I want to make out of it. We only have one skein, and it is about 200 yards, so it's enough to make a little project, maybe a little cowl, or maybe even a motif for Valentine's Day. We shall see.